What do you do now if you're Ohio State? Because Ryan Day just lost his 4th game in 4 years to Michigan, which is the rivalry that, quite frankly, you can't lose that game. And you can win as many other games as you want, but the folks in Columbus will judge you by 1 game. You know that when you take the job, everyone in that organization knows it, everyone in that building knows it, everyone outside the building knows it. Like it is a known thing. You beat Michigan. If you don't, we have problems. So let's unpack this together. Right now, make sure you're subscribed if you're an Ohio State fan. Got a lot to talk about with your Buckeyes. College football playoff run is still very much so intact. National Signing Day around the corner. Transfer portal, I'm sure, will be wild for everyone in college football. Bottom line, make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss anything. Follow me on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, @JD PicKell. So watching yesterday's game against Michigan, here's the most concerning thing if you're talking about Ryan Day's football team. The most concerning thing is it confirmed, I think, what the suspicion already was around the last 3 games, which is that it was never about talent when it came to Ohio State and Michigan, right? Like the talent for Ohio State, even in the losses the last couple of years, has been on par, if not superior, to what Michigan had. This year, it was like, a full Grand Canyon when it came to the talent. That's not dunking on Michigan. I think that just speaks to what was the reality yesterday. Ohio State, allegedly, has a $20 million roster. You brought back guys that had NFL draftable grades to go win this football game. You made a change at quarterback. You changed your OC. You went out and got the best player in the transfer portal for my money, and Caleb Downs. And still, it wasn't enough. So if it's not about talent, what's it about? Everything else. All the other stuff. So who's responsible for all the other stuff outside of talent? The coaching staff. Who's responsible for your coaching staff? Your head coach. So we keep stripping back layers here of this discussion around Ohio State and Michigan, and we keep on changing variables. To some point you say, okay, the common denominator here is Ryan Day. Because you look at what happened that first loss to Michigan. Hey, defense, we got to get better, got to make some changes. New DC, okay, great. Hey, we got to get better players the next year. Okay, cool. We'll go and try and up our personnel a little bit there in the trenches, try and get better up front. We got to get a better quarterback. That's the issue. Got to get a better quarterback. Okay, Kyle McCord, thanks so much. He's balling right now, which is another story for another time. Go get Will Howard. Same result. So you keep on changing the variables, and again, you end up at the same place. Well, who is the common denominator? It's Ryan Day, which is, absolutely, absolutely brutal, because what we said about Ohio State with how talented they are this year and how not talented Michigan is, they're not getting more gettable with Michigan. They've proven they're going to get in the NIL game. They got the number 1 player in America, in the high school level, coming to their team next season, Bryce Underwood. Have to believe he is going to be a force in college football if we're trusting what his ranking is right now, and I would advise us all to do so. If you're Ryan Day, you can go win a national championship this year with this roster. I think you still have a national title caliber roster, which is true, and that would be the Men in Black forget me spray. Everyone's like, Michigan, what about? Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't sit well with us, but okay, like Ryan Day is national champion. Okay, we're good on this front. If you don't win a national championship, things get very, very ugly. Even more ugly than they are right now. I think Ohio State, it was already natty or bust before the year. Natty or bust, the idea baked into that was, okay, now we get some revenge on Michigan. You didn't get to win over Michigan. The importance of winning the national championship has never been greater when it comes to Ryan Day. The concern, too, is like the competitive composure in that game yesterday was all on the Michigan side. You had a team that had a lot of experience on the Ohio State side. You had a lot of guys that had played in that game before that did not meet the moment. Again, you point to the coaching staff getting them ready to play from where I'm standing. So there's going to be a lot of discussion now around Ryan Day and his job security moving forward. Hand up, I would not fire Ryan Day. For all the things I just said a second ago, I still would not fire Ryan Day. His resume is too solid. The loss to Michigan is the loss to Michigan. The loss is to Michigan, the loss to Michigan. You can't excuse those. I'm not excusing those. But, like, who are you going to go get? Like, who is the definitive upgrade from Ryan Day that you're going to go and get? Ryan Day's 66-10 in his career as a head coach. All right? Like, he's a good football coach. Can't beat Michigan right now, but he's a good football coach. However, I'm not calling the shots at Ohio State, all right? So if they go to the college football playoff and have a similar showing to what they had against Michigan, where the offense looks inept and they lose in that first round, I believe he will be fired. Now, if they go to the national championship and lose by 3 points, I don't know if you fire him. Again, that discussion in the post-game press conference will, I think, be a very, very similar vibe of like, gosh, dang it, this was the year we didn't get it done. So I think people will be as tuned up as they are right now in Columbus, Ohio, around Ryan Day. It'll be the same vibe, I think, if you don't win the national championship, period. But here's the thing, man. Like, if I'm Ryan Day, at what point do I just say, like, dude, screw this? Like, forget about this, dude. I win double-digit games every year. We got one of the best rosters in college football. We've been to the college football playoff now, counting this year, multiple times. Like, forget this. I can't even, I would imagine I can't even go to the grocery store in Columbus, Ohio after a game like this. My family's probably catching a bunch of extra noise because of this game. Like, dude, screw this. I'll go somewhere else. I'll be a coordinator in the NFL. I'll go be a head coach somewhere else in college football where I can go win 10 games and be the absolute man walking around that city. At what point do you say that? Because honestly, like, we understand what the Ohio State job is, understand what the fan base is, what the standard is. And so, like, nobody's surprised or feeling sorry for Ryan Day because he hasn't beaten Michigan. But at the exact same time, we understand, like, the standard in itself is it's intense, and that's what you sign up for, but it's intense nonetheless. It is dialed up to the next level. And so for Ryan Day, I don't think there would be a ton of blame if he says, listen, when we lose to Michigan, this gets toxic. I'm a good football coach. I'm going to go make my money somewhere else. I wouldn't blame him. I don't think Ohio State fans blame him either. I think at that point it's like that couple in high school or in college, or whatever you want to put to it, where every summer vibes are great, they're together, they're going strong. Into the fall, they're doing great. They're talking about marriage. This might be the year. And then they get to the end of the fall semester, and it's like, hey, they're not doing good. They're on the rocks. They might break up. That feels like it's Ohio State every single year. So at some point in time, at what point is it just like hey, it's better for both parties for us just to part ways? That would be the feeling to me a little bit if I'm Ryan Day and we don't win the national championship this year. So the question then becomes, assuming that whether it's Ryan Day leaving or whether it's Ohio State parting ways with Ryan Day, it's a short list as to who you would go after next. I can't help but feel a little bit like if you watch Notre Dame this season, talking about an alum in Marcus Freeman that you would at least give a phone call to. There's a fascination, I think, with Mike Vrabel. I don't know if anyone's leaving the NFL to go back to college football right now based on the quality of life. Brian Hartline's going to be a head coach at some point in time. I fully believe that. Maybe it's an internal move there. So I don't know what you do. Again, that's sort of a rabbit hole to jump down. I'm not saying I have any intel. If you want to have that discussion, we can, and we will if it comes to that. But, like, vibes are bad. Vibes are very, very bad, and you have to win a national championship now. It sounds crazy to say out loud. It wasn't that crazy to say during the offseason, but it's very, very real. You have to win a national championship. Otherwise, there will be even more anarchy than there is today in Columbus, Ohio. And I mean, we were there in 2022 when Michigan beat them. Place felt like a funeral. And that was 2022. That was to a Michigan football team that was going to the college football playoff and had a chance to go win a national title that year. This is a Michigan team that is doing none of that. Vibes are bad, understandably so. Got to win a national title if you're Ryan Day. Make sure you're subscribed. Still a lot ahead of you, Ohio State fans. Still got a chance to go on a run here. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're locked in. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.